Hello all, welcome to my first video of web pen testing series. In this video I will tell you my methodology, what I prefer to pen test any website. It's very simple and effective. You can also apply it. I have written some points, so I am reading one by one. Browse your domain want to check and browse like a normal user. Means it's very important for a web pen tester to get the idea of how the functions works, how the website functions work. Okay, so register yourself with at least 2 accounts. It's must, because of so that web pen tester have 2 accounts, so he can compare them with each other to find out the differences between them. Check for the cookies. Cookies means after authentication, website gives cookies to different users so that web pen tester can get the idea how the different cookies are. Okay, is it predictable or unpredictable, all these stuff. Second is map the website by using the automated spidering. I am using the Bubsuit tool to spider the website. Now check every URL presented by the spider. Means a spider collects unique URL, so sometimes in the responses there are very useful information which is beneficial for the attacker to further more investigation. So it's very important to check every URL. Check for the CMS. CMS means content management system, like WordPress, Drupal, etc. It's really important to check the CMS because outdated CMS may be vulnerable to a lot of attacks. So it is very important. So after confirming the CMS, try to find out the plugins and the theme. Let's say your website and the website using the WordPress, so it may be it really important to find out what plugins and themes are. Sometimes WordPress may be outdated, so the plugins and themes will be also outdated, so it's important to find out the plugins and themes. Now check the plugins vulnerability with the help of exploit database and themes vulnerability. You can take help of exploit database. Exploit database means there a lot of attackers base their method how they attack the website. Okay, so when you find out the plugins vulnerability, you can go to the exploit database and you just pick up the sometimes you can pick up the exact location, exact path of the vulnerability. So it's very important. Sometimes it's very important. So now some attack vectors comes. I will make some separate videos of each vectors. Okay, so the first one is check that the website using the input which is talking to the database for SQL injection vulnerability. Watch it carefully, spend some times on that. Check for the blind SQL injection, error based and time based. I have wrote it, please check it all, because sometimes web pen tester may forgot to find out the blind SQL injection vulnerability, because sometimes he thought that by putting the single code it maybe get a SQL syntax error, but it didn't. You have to move on to the blind SQL injection if you didn't find the syntax error. If not, go to the time based. So please check it all. Check for the input vectors like search, parameters, etc., which is reflected back to the web page for accesses. Some interesting places where to find accesses are blogs, comment section, username when registering, image file accesses. This is stored accesses because we just stored the payload in the website, in the web server. So whenever victims click on the in the link, he just clicked. Okay, so this is stored accesses. Check for the CSRF vulnerability, that is if any action happens when you click on the target segment. Check for the clickjacking vulnerability. Check for XSE attack. Check is there any XML file or something related to the XML input. Check for some information disclosure, by seeing errors, check comments in the source code, because sometimes developer may forget to remove the comments in the source code, which is sometimes very beneficial for the attacker. File inclusion vulnerability, two types, RFI and LFI. Check for the command injection vulnerability. For that you need to find out the parameter which is talking to the OS. OS means operating system. Use the dir buster for directory brute forcing. Remember, it can also brute force those directories which are not found by the spiders, like robot.txt, conf.php. Okay. Check for the SSI directive vulnerability. If the website is not validate the input properly, it will find the input parameter. It must be executed by the web server. It is a web server vulnerability, means server side vulnerability incursions. Check for the open redirection vulnerability, mostly found after the login function. Look up the parameters like redirect URL, next, forward URL, because open redirection vulnerability mostly found in these parameters. Check for the CRLF injection, character, I don't know what's the full form, line feed injection vulnerability, something, you know. Check for the session expiration vulnerability, its severity sometimes medium. Check for the forgot password functionality. If the password is stored in the plain text, then its severity will be high and you will get the good paid. Okay, now if you see that website using input filters properly and you didn't find any vulnerability in the website, you just go to the subdomains. If you not know how to find the subdomains, please tell me in the comment section. I will tell you the best tool to find the subdomains. So what you need to with them, just do all these things in the subdomains too, because sometimes developer forgot to use the same function in the subdomains too. Okay, but there's another vulnerability in the subdomains, like sometimes website have a large amount of subdomains, so be alert for the subdomain takeover vulnerability. So don't worry, I will make each one of these video of attacking vectors. So stay tuned for the upcoming videos in my web pen testing series. So if you really like this methodology, please hit the like button and please subscribe it to not miss any video. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching it.